Welcome to the 42nd Annual Career Day. My name is Shanna Bedoyan and I'm with Blue Ridge Community College. Here today to highlight agriculture and horticulture, I am at Tri-Histel in Mills River. And the two folks that are going to share all kinds of information about Tri-Histel and their roles here in the future of agriculture is Patricia Caldwell and Julie McBride. And so without further ado, let's begin the interview. So ladies, thank you. Please share your story. How did you arrive or decide to work in agriculture?
My background was actually in biology for my undergraduate. I've always liked plants and animals, and just as I did some different jobs while going to school, and just came to find that I really enjoyed working with plants, and there's a lot of cool opportunities in agriculture especially. So I continued and got my master's degree in agriculture, and then I stumbled on Tri-Histel, which is doing something kind of unique in the field, and started in one position and kind of through different circumstances ended up in the position I am now. So I get to really use a lot of different skills I didn't expect to get to use.
Yes. Well, I was a manager for about 10 years with about 10 to 15 employees, and my background was, my education was business administration too, so I was applying it at my previous job, but I really wanted to do something more and probably work with more people. So it just happened to be that I found this job, and it was fitting the description that I wanted to work with and be with people and be responsible for a lot of stuff around. So that brought me here, and I really enjoyed being, I guess, in charge of a lot of people. We have over 100 employees, and just the challenges that it comes with to work with people and to work with equipment in the greenhouse and in other parts of the building that we have. That was up my field, I guess. I really like that.
Fantastic. So you both have touched upon the title of where we're at. We're at Tri-Histel. Can you please share with our audience who and what is Tri-Histel?
Well, Tri-Histel is actually kind of a unique company. We're the American counterpart to an Israeli and Italian company. So pretty much all of our expertise comes from their support, as they've been in this particular business longer than us. What we do is graft plants. So we basically have a root system and the fruit producing part of the plant that we basically put together, clip together, let it heal, and we send our product to farmers who then grow mostly seedless watermelon, when some tomatoes, some eggplants, some other crops. But it's a cool concept because it reduces the amount of land needed. It's a disease-resistant kind of plant without having to use as much pesticide. So it's a cool type of agriculture that kind of lines up with moving into a little more sustainable way of farming.
Our partners are also are coming from Italy and Israel. So we have this partnership with other countries that, I guess, brings another level to the company of sharing different ways of doing growing produce. It is different climate. They can put, I guess, their input of how to do it. It might work for us, it might not work for us. That is working together with different countries, I guess, with Italy and Israel.
So a great collaboration then.
Yes, it is. Very much so international company.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. How interesting. So could you now share what are your roles? Truly, what are your roles? What are your titles? And what does your daily life look like here?
I think for both of us, it's very variable. I am the agritechnical manager, so basically over everything plant related. Mostly that means overall quality, and I work with all the greenhouse people. We've got a greenhouse supervisor, so I work very closely with him to implement new growing protocols and keep trying to improve what we're doing. I'm trying to look at ways to improve further to help reduce the amount of extra plants we have to produce, try to streamline what we're doing as far as the plants go, and make the best product we possibly can for the customer. That's my bottom line. We're trying to fill the customer's order the best we can.
Yes, and I'm an operations manager, so that's where Patricia and I a great team, and we have to play together because I have to provide Patricia with all the labor that she needs for growing the plants and grafting the plants. So I make sure that she gets good people, that they're well trained, that they know exactly what they need to be doing, and I'm also responsible for all the equipment in the building, that I have to make sure that everything is running well and we don't have any hiccups, nothing stops, because it is ongoing process. Yeah, that's pretty much my responsibilities.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
I know by listening to both of you, you're very busy.
Yes.
Extremely busy.
Yes,
so
we
with
are.
that, so what excites you? What gets you up every day to come in and to do what you do so successfully?
I think we have a great team here. Like everybody has to work together. It does not work without one department, or even the people who are grafting the plants. We can't do what we do if they don't show up and do the grafting with good quality. I think the team environment here, but then also the challenge of trying to make a better plant. It's a constant challenge, but I feel like it keeps us mentally on our toes always, which it can be hard, but I think that's really more of a positive thing. And there's always something new for us to try to solve, which it does not feel stagnant, and it just feels like we constantly can improve.
Yes, challenge. Definitely, we do have challenge every day, and that's what keeps me wanting to come to work every day, because sometimes I do not know what I will walk into. Just because we're a seasonal company, we work a lot and very hard through the winter time, which means that we have to hire a lot of people in a very short time. I have to make sure that they're all here, that they're all trained. But just because I am working with people, you never know what's going to happen. Some people don't show up. I have to make sure that all the process is still going, that the day is still running. Which is challenging, but I really like it. That keeps me motivated. And also trying to find people who can do more than just the task that we give them. The people who show initiative, who maybe show up a little bit early, maybe go home a little bit later, and just noticing those people and trying to give them an opportunity to maybe grow in our company and do a little bit more, and give them each day maybe an extra task and see how they do. That is probably the most exciting thing for me, just to see hiring part-time employees and seasonal employees, and then being able to give them a full-time job where they will develop and they will grow, and there is always a cap, but you never know. You just keep trying with people. So that's probably one of my favorite thing of working with people. Yeah, just finding new talents, and we've done it many times, and we promoted people within the company, and we found great employees from the seasonal employees that we had. That's which is
Positive.
very positive and very encouraging.
Fantastic. So work ethic is really, as we know, just a cornerstone, right, to your organization. So launching from that innate soft skill of being on time and being motivated and putting your all in, what else in terms of knowledge or competency or skill set do you look for in your seasonal, part-time, or even full-time people? Do you have any prescribed requirements, if you will, for hiring?
With the seasonal positions, not necessarily, because usually the way it works is seasonal kind of starts in the grafting room, and then that's where sometimes we see that somebody may not be the best grafter. I certainly am not, but they maybe have an interest in working with the plants more, and then we can kind of shift them out, and we see how they develop and how it goes in the greenhouse. Sometimes we do hire from outside as well. We're pretty split in the greenhouse, I would say. Some background working with plants is helpful. We don't necessarily require a degree. We do have a lot of people who have undergraduate or associates in horticulture or something similar. A lot of what we do in the greenhouse, we like to actually teach kind of what we're doing. We want people with an open mind to that. We don't want people coming in just thinking they've worked with plants, they know how to do everything, because it is a unique operation that we have. So we want somebody with an open mind, I think, and wanting and willing to learn.
Yeah, the degree, of course, is always very good, but it is definitely not necessary, because we always can teach people how to do certain stuff, and different people have different abilities, and somebody might be a little bit better with computers, somebody is better figuring out logistic parts of work daily. That certainly helps, and this is our job to look out for people like this and just bringing them up and challenging them in what they're good at. But no specific degree necessary, besides growers, who is definitely beneficial if they do have an education in agriculture.
Sure. Okay. So, what do we have back here? What is behind you?
So these are actually grafted plants. We're kind of ramping up right now, but you can see, I don't have my gloves on for phytosanitary purposes, but what we have this is the final products. This is not ready to ship yet, but this is what the plant looks like that we send to the customer.
So what is that?
So that's a seedless watermelon. So it's actually a watermelon grafted onto a squash rootstock. So the squash rootstock has a really vigorous root system, and it has certain resistances to disease that the watermelons do not have. So basically, we cut off part of the squash, we cut part of the watermelon, we clip them together, they heal, and at that point, it's still a watermelon, but it's just got that extra vigor in the root system.
Interesting.
So it's a new way of it's not new, it's a little more new for North America, but
Sure.
or for America, but
So that leads us into, so what are the trends then for this world, this industry sector?
we've grown every year. Our sales have actually increased. The grafted plants are growing. There's a lot of farmers who have disease problems that they can't battle with different fungicides, pesticides now.
Can rotate the land.
People can't rotate the land like they used to be able to. So grafted plants provides an opportunity where they can use that land and still get a good crop. We actually sell from Florida to California to Washington. We have customers all across the country, even Hawaii. So we've seen growth every year, and so far that's been a upward trend.
Is there any other type of combination that you foresee coming down the pike?
There's a combination of the watermelon on a wild watermelon rootstock, which provides a different resistance than the squash rootstock. So we've got that's a little bit new. That was recently developed in the last several years. But actually seen those orders increase as there are different farmers who have different requirements for what resistances they need. Tomatoes, there's a lot of grafted tomatoes. We do a little less of that here, but that's something that potentially in the future we move towards.
So can you now tell us about this greenhouse and how important it is to your mission here?
Well, the greenhouse is very important for our mission. That's where we keep controlled environment. We have different zones going along the greenhouse. Some zones have extra light where we grow scion, watermelon. The temperature is higher, so we're able to control the temperature. Then some of the zones are actually much cooler where we harden the plants. This way, before the farmer gets the plants and plant it in the field, that the plants do not get stressed from the change of weather. Instead of coming from the warm greenhouse into the outside conditions, so we try to harden the plants. So this is the main overview about the greenhouse. So we can control the temperature. Obviously, in the winter time, we cannot control it in the summertime because we do not have a cooling system. It is only heat system. We can control it a little bit with air fans, but that's about it. We have a special roof that Van Wingerden helped to create for us, that it opens the vents and lets the air in, helps us to move the still air through the greenhouse.
Well, I think we're coming to the conclusion for our audience. What else would either one of you, Patricia or Julia, like to share about Tri-Histel or about this career field in agriculture?
I think agriculture is a great field to be in. There's a lot of different specialty opportunities. There's more typical things you would think, but I just think there's a lot of really great opportunities and ways that you can develop your skills and move up, honestly.
It is definitely the field that is not going to go anywhere.
Everybody has to eat.
Yes,
so
the farmers will always have to grow the plants and provide the fruit and vegetables to us. So it is pretty secure job to have, that you don't have to worry about something going out of business and the farmers will stop growing the produce.
So thank you so very much for joining us today for the 42nd Annual Career Day with Henderson County Public Schools and Blue Ridge Community College. For our audience, we are going to be posting their contact information at the end. So in case you have any follow-up questions or maybe even would like to take a tour of the facility, please reach out to either one of these ladies.
We are always more than welcome to give a tour in our facility.